This log, I want to call it If Nobody Expected Anything from Me. And this is based on something that I have been trying to answer for myself. And this afternoon, I was having lunch and I was thinking about it. And the question I landed up asking myself is, who would I be if nobody expected anything from me? No expectations from work, no expectations from family, society, no one at all. And if I'm honest, I expected an answer that is very liberating and out of the world. I imagined myself doing less, slowing down, walking away from responsibility, perhaps even disappearing into some ideal version of freedom. But the longer I sat with the question, the stranger the answer became. Because almost everything about my life I chose to keep. I realized that if nobody expected anything from me tomorrow, I would still wake up and make my bed. In fact, I would probably still wake up early, not because of the work that needs to be done, but because I love the mornings. I can sleep in just as enthusiastically as anyone else. But because I love the feeling of ending a day knowing I did what mattered and can sleep peacefully at night, I would still do it. I would also still clean my home. I would still mop the floors. I would do the dishes, fold the laundry, water my plants, make my space feel cared for, not because someone expects it, but because I enjoy living in the kind of environment that reflects the life I want to experience. I would still eat a home cooked food. I would still spend time talking to my children. I would still linger in the meaningful conversations and probably a few completely stupid ones too, because I enjoy both of them equally. I would still ask questions, seek wisdom. I would still choose to coach and learn, record these reflections and wonder about life and try to understand people. And somehow, somewhere in the middle of all that, I realized something. Most of what I thought were expectations were actually choices, expressions, preferences, ways of being that felt deeply like me. And that realization surprised me because I began this question expecting to discover what I would be free from, and instead I discovered what I would keep. And perhaps that's a more interesting question, right? Not what would disappear, but what would remain. Because what remains tells us something important. It tells us who we are when nobody is watching, who we are when there is no applause or pressure or reward or expectation, just choice. Now, that doesn't mean every expectation disappeared, okay? I found a couple of things still hanging around that I did not like. One of them was cooking, which is funny because I actually enjoy cooking. I love making food for myself and experimenting and taking my time around it and creating something simple and nourishing. What I discovered is that what I dislike is not cooking, it's carrying other people's expectations about cooking. Keeping everyone happy, meeting everyone's preferences, trying to get it right for everyone else. And somewhere along the way, the expression became an obligation. And the joy quietly slipped out of the back door. Then there is another area of my life that made me pause. If no one expected financial predictability from me, if practical realities weren't part of the question, I suspect I would spend far more of my life coaching. Not because my current work is wrong, not because it hasn't given me opportunities and experiences I value, but because something in me feels deeply at home when I work with people. And that's where this question becomes useful, because the goal isn't to eliminate expectations, because I do believe this. Life will always come with expectations, responsibilities, commitments, and showing up will matter. The real question is, does my life feel like an expression of who I am, or does it feel like a performance for everyone else? Because there is a difference. The first one creates energy, and the other one slowly drains it. And the longer that I have realized that I have consciously lived, the less interested I am in building a life that looks right. And the more interested I am in building a life that feels true. A life where what I do each day feels connected to who I am. Not because I have to, because I choose to. And that's the gift hidden inside this question. Because it helps us separate the things we carry because they don't belong to us from the things we carry because we forgot to stop carrying them. And that's the question I want to leave you with today. And the question is, if nobody expected anything from you, what would remain? Not what would disappear. What would remain? The parts of your life you would choose anyway, because hidden inside that answer is the clearest picture of who you really are.